Hi, I'm Whitney Morgan, Hashimoto's coach, gluten-free warrior, and creator of the Thyroid Reboot Method and the Gluten Gauntlet mini course. Finding out that you have a problem with gluten and that you need to eliminate it from your life is an emotional shock. Our relationship with food is complex and often wrapped up with our identity. So having to give up gluten can bring up profound feelings of loss and despair. Gluten grief is real, but it is possible to cope with the grief and come out stronger on the other side. In today's video, I'm going to walk you through the 4 stages of what I call the gluten grief coping cycle. And I'm also going to give you 4 strategies to get to the other side of gluten grief as quickly as possible. But before we jump into it, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and the little bell next to it so you'll get notified every time I post a new video. I've worked with dozens of women with Hashimoto's and hypothyroidism. Unfortunately, almost 100% of them have had to give up gluten due to an underlying gluten sensitivity. And it's not the logistics of going gluten-free that they struggle with the most. You know, things like shopping and food prep and dining out. Instead, it's the emotional roller coaster and the grief that comes with letting go of their old ways of eating and socializing. Coaching my clients through this grief and helping them to cope is part of steps 1 and 2 of my Thyroid Reboot Method. There are 4 stages to the gluten grief coping cycle, and it's important to remember that these stages aren't linear. They are cyclical. The first stage is called numbness. This stage happens right after diagnosis and usually lasts anywhere from a few hours to a few days. Numbness is a lot like shock. It is your psyche's way of protecting you from being overwhelmed. People in this stage often experience sudden fatigue and disorientation, and they can feel disconnected and unable to think clearly. In this stage, it's not uncommon for people to try and ignore their new reality and go about life as if nothing has changed. Now, there's no right way or wrong way to get through the numbness stage. You can rest assured that this stage passes quickly. While you're in it, the best thing you can do is be kind to yourself, breathe, and know that there's nothing that you really have to do at all in this stage. Stage 2 is the yearning stage. This stage is all about living in the past and yearning for your previous life. People in this stage can experience a lot of anxiety, anger, and irritability. And it's not unusual to feel resentful toward other people who have a, quote unquote, normal life. Stage 3 is called disorganization and despair. It's this stage where acceptance starts to sink in. People in this stage tend to withdraw from life and avoid family, friends, and social activities. The most notable characteristic of this phase is an inability to act. It's common to feel completely paralyzed and overwhelmed. Do you relate to any of these first 3 stages? If so, which one stands out for you? Let me know in the comments. Okay, stage 4 is called reorganization. It is the holy grail stage of the coping cycle. Let's face it, stages 1 through 3 suck, and it's a bummer to get stuck there. The reorganization stage is defined by a new sense of purpose. People in this stage tend to feel optimistic and confident. They're excited again about relationships, activities, and hobbies that they had lost interest in during previous stages. This stage is the other side of gluten grief, and it's an excellent place to hang out. So how do you get there? There are 4 strategies to help you move through those first 3 stages as quickly as possible. The first is find your community. Online or in person, connect with people who are walking this gluten-free path with purpose and power. Meetup groups and podcasts are great places to start. Strategy 2, know your stuff. Knowledge is power. Read books and blogs that give you the science and the data about why gluten is damaging to your health. Strategy 3, recreate comfort. Remember all those comfort foods that you spent hours crying over during stages 2 and 3? This strategy is all about learning to make gluten-free versions of your favorite foods that you miss so much. And finally, strategy 4, grow your gratitude. Start a journal and keep track of all of the positive changes in your health and in your life as a result of you going gluten-free. When you practice these 4 strategies consistently, you're more likely to stay grounded in the reorganization stage. And remember that coping with gluten grief is a cyclical process. It's not uncommon to lose ground and cycle back to previous stages. That's why it's so important to get into the habit of practicing the 4 strategies. To download my free resource about gluten grief and the coping cycle, just click on the link that I provide in the video notes. If you're watching the replay on Instagram, head to my bio link. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, let me know. You can like it, subscribe to my channel, or share this video with a gluten-free friend that needs support. Also, if you have questions, please leave them for me in the comments. I do my best to answer each one. I'll see you next week. Bye.